What's up, everybody? It's your boy True Element 78 in the building with
the reigning and defending Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer, the father of dragons, the XMen, Xavier Mustafa.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am the natural Chris Black.
And today you are joining Saturday Night SlamCasters for a very special interview that we're going to be conducting today. Before I get right into that, I do want to apologize if there's any audio issues. We're having a few technical difficulties, but we're going to push through it. But today in the building, we have with us the reigning and defending Legacy Pro champion, and I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the dashly handsome Mr. Kick Knees and Stumps himself, Nell Dillinger.
So like I said, today in the building, we got Nell Dillinger. He is the current reigning and defending Legacy Pro champion. He will be defending his title whenever Xavier Mustafa gives the word.
I know, right?
Very, very soon. I have some exciting news that I will be releasing in the next 24 to 48 hours about the future of Legacy Pro Wrestling. It's great.
It's a new day. Yes, it is. But yeah, so today we're going to be conducting this interview. We all just watched NXT TakeOver. This interview is dropping a few weeks after NXT TakeOver, but we'll probably ask some questions and get some thoughts and insights from Nell Dillinger, and also give a little bit of our thoughts and input on it. Be sure to share, subscribe, and like this podcast and this episode wherever you get your podcast. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. Nell, you're the current reigning and defending Legacy Pro champion. How long have you been with Legacy Pro?
From day one, to tell you the truth. The original. Like I say, I'm the one that built the house.
Day one-ish.
Yeah, I remember your first gimmick was you had your face painted white and you wore that the prison outfit.
Why would you bring that up? Oh my God. Who allowed me to do that?
Hey, and Armani he was managing you.
Good time.
You ain't gonna forget that. We got the footage of that. TC got it somewhere buried.
Need to burn that immediately.
Those were the good old days. That was like Legacy Pro before it was Legacy Pro, because a lot of people don't remember that Legacy Pro was actually live pro wrestling when it first started. For the first 2-3 shows. Then it became Legacy Pro Wrestling.
Oh, for real? It was called Live Pro? I didn't even know that.
Yep.
So
and then I was like, TC, I think we should call it something other than Live Pro Wrestling. He was like, yeah, it's Legacy Pro Wrestling. I was like, all right, I like that.
Live Pro Wrestling. That's so TC. That's so direct.
So you've been with Legacy Pro since the beginning. How long have you actually been wrestling?
Ooh, I want to say about, what's it been, 6 or 7 years?
Okay, 6 or 7 years. What got your start in professional wrestling, or what got you interested in it?
That's quite of a story. I mean, I always, as a kid, watched wrestling. I always was a fan as a kid.
WCW or WWF?
More WWF.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I was just sitting around. Me and my oldest son. We was watching wrestling, and he just looked at me. He's like, "Daddy, you should try to do that." And I looked at him. I was like, "You're right, my guy. I should try to do that."
My guy.
And I just called around, and just so happened I saw a commercial with the famous Angel Armani, and I believe it was Silas Young in a commercial. It was like a TV spot, or like it was a news spot or something like that. And the number flashed, and I was like, let me get this guy a call, and take it from there.
Oh, so that's where you got your training originally, is with Angel Armani and Silas Young?
When I finally got to training, I think Silas was gone doing his own thing, so it was just basically was Angel Armani and Xavier Mustafa and TC at the time.
Okay.
It's funny is I never knew how you got started in wrestling. I just know you showed up to camp one day and you just never left.
Story of my life: just show up and never leave. Yeah,
right.
That's me.
One of the more interesting things that I know about you, Nell, is that unlike a lot of guys that get into this business, you got into the business kind of late in age. You wanna talk about how you got involved in your 30s to become a wrestler?
How dare you? How dare you?
Oh, he's the DDP of Legacy Pro.
How dare you? Yeah, yeah, I did start a little late. I mean, it was a time when I was like in my 20s. I had tried, or I was very interested, but at that point in time, I was with somebody that wasn't so supportive of the things I wanted to do, so I had to put it off, trying to be, you know, the better husband or whatnot. So when I got out of that relationship and I had the freedom, I was like, you know what, I might as well just go for it. I got the approval from the kids, and I was like, let's do this.
A couple of weeks back, we did an interview with Skylar Reed, and he mentioned that you guys tagged together.
Yes.
Was that early in the career or over the past recent years? How did you link up with Skylar Reed? How did that come to be?
Through training, and then I don't know. We just clicked. Like we talked, and he's about as goofy as I am, so we was like, you know what, let's tag. Let's see what we can do with this tag. Because at the time there wasn't really too many tag teams in the indie wrestling scene, Wisconsin indie wrestling scene at the time. So we was like, we might as well see if we can at least try to get some kind of division or whatnot going, more tag teams in Wisconsin. So that was the whole idea behind it, us tag teaming.
So are you originally from Wisconsin, from Milwaukee?
Negative.
All right. Where you from?
Here and there.
Here and there.
Born in one city, raised in another. Champaign, Illinois is what I call home.
Boo.
Cubs fan?
A big Cubs fan.
Walk.
Love my Cubbies. Love my Cubbies.
Trash.
Blasphemy.
Walk with Nell Dillinger.
Yeah.
So you said that growing up you were a wrestling fan. Were your parents wrestling fans? Were they kind of supportive of it, or was it just a kind of you solo and your friends?
My stepdad, he's the one that really, because the very, very first match I ever seen was Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik. That was the first match I ever seen. I was like, this stuff is incredible. And ever since then, I would sit down and watch wrestling with him.
So in your opinion, who's the greatest of all time?
Ooh,
I'll even give you a cop out. Give me your top two.
That's a loaded question.
Xavier, Mustafa.
That's kind of. I was a big even though I was a WWF guy, I was a big Dusty Rhodes fan. Like, I just liked how he talked. I like his swag. He just seemed down home, like like an average dude off the street. And I didn't really have a top guy. I was for some reason I gravitated to all the heels, all the bad guys. It's like whoever was the heel and whoever was the baddest, that's who I liked.
So let me ask you this. You said the first match you seen was Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik?
Yes.
So what was, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I always think like it's always like a certain match or a certain angle or something like that once you like see it, you're like, you know what, I have to be in the wrestling business. What would that have been for you? Like what was your favorite moment in wrestling that you was like, I have to be a wrestler because of this?
As a kid, it would be that whole storyline between Jake the Snake, the Ultimate Warrior, and Undertaker. Because that really, I was amazed. Like, I really believed everything that was going on with them three. And that's I don't know. That took, it just, as a kid, I really believed that stuff was going on. Like, I would go to school like, bro, did you see what Jake the Snake was doing? It just, my whole life just evolved around that whole storyline.
The natural Chris Black, he mentioned that when you first got your start in the industry, or at least with Legacy Pro, that you had one gimmick where you wore like white face paint and everything like that.
Yeah.
And now we know you do the all gold everything, like a steampunk thing.
Yep.
Gimmick.
Yep. So
how did your gimmick evolve over time, and what were the concepts behind your original to now and steps in between?
Well, my original gimmick, it was given to me by my daughter. Love you, baby. She at the time she was into this goth scene type thing as a teenager, so she basically created my gimmick at the time, which for me was kind of hard to get over because I wasn't really that kind of a person. but I tried to pull it off the best I could. Fast forward, I just tried to evolve that character, and there was some stuff that happened, some stuff that was said about me during that time I was, when I was trying to evolve the character, that I was like, you know what, maybe I do need to get rid of this whole face paint thing I was going through. I feel like the gimmick I do now is more me. Like, it's easier for me to pull it off because it's basically me times 100. So that's why,
Okay. So what was your upbringing like then? Like,
ooh, now that's
Champaign.
That's a story. I was definitely not the best kid in the world. I did have some questionable things I did in my life.
Just what made me ask is just when you were like, I'm from here and there, it kind of sound like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, I was good in school. I was popular, had plenty of friends. It was just it's funny. Let's just say I didn't abide by laws.
Did you play? Were you involved in sports at all? Like, what's your athletic background like?
I played basketball and some football in high school. I quit football after 2 games because the coach wouldn't let me play anything but kick return. I was tired of getting slaughtered.
Oh man, you got that in common.
Every kick return, I was like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to play this no more.
I did two games and I was like, I'm out.
I boxed in high school. Did some things in the military here and there.
Oh, you were in the military?
Yeah, 12 years.
What branch?
United States Navy.
Oh, okay.
Damn, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
My dad's retired Navy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I boxed in high school. I wrestled in high school. Yeah, basically. Well, I did a little while I was in the military. I did Jujitsu for 2 years while I was stationed in Saudi Arabia. But I was just to stay in shape. Wasn't then too serious. I would just go like every other weekend just to to roll around, teach me how some throws, some kicks, and things like that.
So with that being said, now I gotta ask, how old are you?
I am right now, as we speak, 40.
Really?
I'll be 41 in June.
I did not expect that answer.
Yes.
So,
But if you people have never seen Nell Dillinger before, he does not look 40 years old. I'll put you over for a minute and tell you that you don't look your age at all.
I know he's more on the like 55 side.
Whatever. Appreciate the compliments. Thank you.
Yeah, I was not expecting that answer, but yeah, 12 years in the Navy. So you started training and wrestling once you got out of the Navy, I'm assuming then?
No, not immediately. Because I got out the Navy in 2006.
What was your MOS?
At the time I was a storekeeper.
Okay.
That was basically logistics, but I was the type of person in the military that I never really actually did my naval job. I was always volunteering to go do other things. So I never did my actual job when I came into the Navy. I was branched off and done other things with other military branches and whatnot.
Do you feel like that military training has helped you with your wrestling career?
I wouldn't say my wrestling career. I would say just life, how I just how I handle things, how I treat people, how I expect people to treat me, and beliefs. And
the main reason I was asking that, I know that they always say there's like a hierarchy kind of in the locker room, and when you meet certain people, and a certain sign of respect. And I know that that's big in the military. I was in the Army myself, so shaking hands, kissing babies, making sure you acknowledge everybody
when it's deserved.
Well, I've heard that people have said that professional training to be a professional wrestler is like unlike any other training. Now, I've always said I wouldn't want to serve in the military, but I always thought that going through basic training would be something that I would like to, just to test my limits. Yeah. How would you say, as far as basic training, would you say that your wrestling training was harder or easier because of your basic training that you went through?
I think the wrestling training was a little bit harder because I was always questioning myself because I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into. Like the military, I knew what I was getting myself into because I got family that was in the military, so they pretty much already had me prepared for what I was about to go into, going to basic.
And they tell you exactly what they want from you in the military versus wrestling. You don't know what is really expected of you.
Wrestling, when I was the first day I stepped foot into Papa Luigi's, I was really nervous. Like I'd never been that nervous because I really didn't know what to expect. I was expecting big burly dudes, seeing this little bitty 100 and I don't know how much I weighed at the time, 160 something pound dude coming in here and just toss me around and smack me around like, oh, you ain't cut out for this, get out of my ring or whatnot. That's what I was expecting. But it didn't turn out like that.
Because I didn't show up that day.
All right, I got a question for you. So you trained with us in the great Angel Armani. Tell us your favorite Angel Armani story.
Oh man.
Oh hell.
Trying to think of one. You tell you the truth, I don't really have a story from him. It's just like little things that he would do here and there that like I would remember, like him and them coupons and the couple of road trips we did do. Just the how the little stories he would have, the bad jokes he have. Like the jokes would be so bad that they're funny, but you like I don't see how this is funny, but I'm gonna laugh at it because it is funny.
He knows every song on the radio.
So what's been the you mentioned road trips with Angel Armani. What's been the furthest that you've traveled away from home to go and put on a show?
Ooh, I think tell you the truth, I can't even remember the name of the town, tell you the truth. But I remember it was for Under the Lights promotion, and it was all the way up north. I believe it was past Green Bay, if I can remember. Yeah, I think it was past Green Bay. I was like, ugh, this is a long ride.
So what other promotions have you worked for besides Legacy? You mentioned Legacy Pro, Under the Lights. What other promotions did you work for?
MIAW. Let's see. I did a one-off for BCW. Of course, MEPW. I think that's.
I think Mustafa trolling you.
And FTW.
Well, because I came across this picture of you and another wrestler. Y'all had bow ties around y'all necks. Blue bow ties and like some blue like furry boots.
Oh my God, no. I guess we did a one-off for a Mondo Lucha where we was dressed like that. Yeah.
One off, one.
Well, it was a couple offs. Yeah.
What were you guys called?
We was the Cougar Hunters at the time. Greatest tag team ever.
Love the gimmick. Love the gimmick.
I don't think it was a gimmick, but we'll keep Mr. Dillinger's relationships intact right now.
Funny.
Because this lady, I like his lady. I ain't having her come up busting up in my house talking about her man.
Bust me up.
So, as far as your time in the industry as of right now, what do you think has been your greatest match or greatest opponent? Who you just enjoy working with or have worked with?
Tell you the truth, all the guys I have worked with, I really enjoyed. There's plenty of indie wrestlers I would like to wrestle. Probably would never happen, but I would like to.
Go ahead and put them over.
I leave that to myself. One of them happens to be on here, Mr. Xavier Mustafa, but he's scared, so I just let him keep running.
I keep telling him I'm gonna be the one to retire him.
Listen, let me enjoy my semi-retiredness, okay?
But the guys I have my best matches with was TW3. He's always gonna be one of my favorites. He's the one that my first kick in the face made my nose bleed was from him. And ever since that day, I was like, you know what? Stiff is what they want. Stiff is what they're gonna get every time I'm in a match. So
Mr. As long as you're willing to take,
Oh, I'm willing to
What do you
take.
give?
I'm
Yeah,
willing to
it's
take.
cool.
Mr. Justin Dredd, he's one of my favorites. Had a very good match with him. I would love to do it again. Let's see. Of course, TC Washington, always gonna be one of my favorites.
Until you take a chair shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, I'm open. I will wrestle anybody. I just, I just enjoy doing it. And if the person I'm gonna wrestle is gonna be involved in the match as much as I am, I want to work them.
So I mentioned we had Skylar Reed on the show with us, and he mentioned the Dark Match Mafia, and that you're a member of the Dark Match Mafia. I would assume you're the leader.
The creator.
So how did the creation of the Dark Match Mafia come to be, and what is the end goal for the Dark Match Mafia? Like right now, you're the reigning, defending Legacy Pro champion, but where do you see Dark Match Mafia moving forward now?
Tell you the truth, I'm kind of in the background since I'm like the what I call the main members. They're actually out there doing it. They're representing Dark Match Mafia. Shout out to Mike, to Juan, to Zach, my guys. At the beginning, it was just I was just sitting back and I was thinking like, because at the time we was always put into the dark match like forever. It was like seemed like forever. And we always question, like, why are we always in a dark match when we feel like we could be on the main show and we proven that we could be on the main show, but we're still stuck in the dark match. So we just clicked up and like, we're going to be the Dark Match Mafia. That's what we are. I mean, that's where they're going to put us. Every time we on the dark match, we're going to try to kill it. So that's how that began. And then next thing you know, I would say they just, took and ran with it. Now that I would say up there, I'm not gonna say I'm old. I'm not gonna date myself, but I'm not wrestling as much as those guys are. So I try to stay in the back and let them do their thing and have the Dark Match Mafia, let them be their stable. But I'm still around. I'm still around when they need me.
So I'm gonna ask you this, and I don't want you to think like I'm being a shithead for asking you this, but you say those guys are out there doing it, you kind of hanging back. Why is that? With the amount of talent that you have, why are you in the background?
Good question. I just feel like there's opportunities I would like to have that I feel like will never be presented to me. And I feel like
you're the champion right now, though.
All right, let me clear. Like here, like the southern part of Wisconsin, I have no problems getting bookings. There's people that I know like me, for me, and will book me. But there's I don't know, for whatever reason. Like I believe I know the reason why, but I cannot get bookings up north. So, but my other fellow Dark Match Mafia members, they can. So that's why I'm like, you know what, y'all go do y'all thing. That's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to go out there and push the product and show off how awesome you guys are, because I know you're awesome. Go out there and show everybody else that you're awesome. I just feel like
don't feel bad.
I can't get the same opportunities as some other people. I think that's what I'm lacking. I feel like I'm not gonna get that shake for some reason or the other.
The best advice I could give you is, okay, so yeah, those guys get those opportunities up there, but you know what? Sometimes you got to make your own opportunities, and even if they're not in the same places that they are, because I mean, there's been times where I would go and get my own bookings separate from the Urban Horsemen, and TC would do that, and James would do that, and then there'll be certain things that we do together, like because everybody don't like everybody in Urban Horsemen. Somebody might like two of us, but not the third one, things like that. So I wouldn't use that as a I wouldn't think of it as a roadblock. I would just think that as just you just taking another road to get to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
And like you both kind of said, even if you're all getting separate bookings, push the brand or push the crew that you guys have going. That way, at least when you are getting these other bookings, there's brand recognition there. Like, that sounds familiar. Dark Match Mafia, I've heard of that somewhere else. I'm gonna go check that show out, because when I saw this guy perform up there was awesome.
Like, don't get me wrong, because
Right.
I do, for some reason I've got fans. Like, it amazes me because people hit me up from like places I've never been before in Wisconsin. Like, oh, I've seen you or whatnot, and I really enjoy your work or whatnot. I'm like, how do you know me, or where'd you see this film of me or whatnot? And people hit me like, won't you come up here to wrestle and whatnot? I'm like if I could, I would, but I see the support and I see that, you know, it amazes me because I never knew I had fans or, you know, people that wanted to see me. Because I always thought I was one of those guys like, oh, he's on the show, but we ain't here for this guy. And now I'm finding out like there's actually people that want to see Nell Dillinger, which is, to me, is still crazy.
Hey, man, get your butt in the
You keep
car
saying
and
the
go.
people up north. Yeah, you keep saying them up north. Why can't you get work up north? Why have you tried and they just haven't booked you, or they booked you and then they stopped?
I don't know.
Have they given you feedback?
I feel like there's a stigma around me. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, but I feel like people don't want to book me because maybe they think I'm a bad person or I'm bad in the locker room or I have no clue. I mean, I've reached out to a person or two before and never got nothing back. So I was like, maybe I'm just not within that circle, or maybe it's just, you know, they just don't like what I can bring. So I was like, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've had that conversation. Dysfunction pulled me aside because I used to work for ICW, and after a while, he was just like, dude, you know, I like you, but you're just not over with my crowd. And it's like, yeah, I agree. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not. I'm so not over at ICW.
So I want to ask a question. This is something that has been rumored. I haven't ever seen it yet, but explain this tattoo, this infamous tattoo that you have.
Oh my God.
And the story behind it. Maybe that could be a reason.
It's really no story behind it. Just me, you know, being, you know, the teenage, being young and dumb. First tattoo.
This was your first tattoo.
First tattoo. Got my own money to buy my own tattoo. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it big out here. I'm gonna go to this tattoo parlor, get me the best tattoo I can get. So I go in the tattoo parlor, look in the book, you know, look on the walls, like, no, I don't see nothing I like. Then the tattoo guy, he was talking to me, and he was like, yeah, let me drop some stuff. I like, drop some stuff? I was like, okay. He's like, just come back in an hour, and I'm gonna drop a couple things. You tell me what you like. So me and my friends, we go to the mall, get some clothes or whatnot, go back to the tattoo parlor. He showed me 3 pictures, and I can't remember what the other 2 were, but I saw the one my eye like was set on was a picture of a chick. But what she had on, I was like, I don't like it. And he's like, you know, he's like, what you don't like about it? I was like, I don't like the clothes. But when I said that, I didn't mean to take the clothes off the tattoo. I meant to like change the clothes up, like put a different design or something. So when he put it on when they draw it up and put it on your arm and whatnot before they start tattooing, he drew it up, put it on my arm. Me not paying attention, he took it off and he's like, "That's good placement." I just turned like, "Yeah, that's good." He started tattooing, right? And then my boy comes in. He's like, "Bro," I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "You see this tattoo?" I was like, "Yeah, it's on my arm. I can feel it putting on me." He's like, "No, you need to look at it." So I look at it and I was like, "Oh, it's like there's a naked lady on my arm." So I was like, well, he already started. That's what it's gonna be then. It's gonna be a naked lady on my arm. And so I just kept it. And I was like, eh.
How old were you when you got this?
I want to say 17,
or
just make it 17.
What the parents say when you got home?
Tell you the truth, they wasn't really at the time.
We expected this.
No, my bless their hearts, they did what they could. My mom and my dad, they was around but wasn't around. I don't want to put their business all the way out there, but they was around but they wasn't around.
Okay. So
they never seen it until like years after I already had it, and then by that time they was like, they can't say nothing. I'm a grown man.
Right. And it's the scab is already going and everything. Yep. So you got a bunch of piercings and everything. Like, is that your only tattoo, or you got other tattoos?
I got other tattoos.
Okay. What What's the most significant tattoo that you have? Like one with the most meaning to you?
All my tattoos that have something to do with my kids.
Okay.
Like, tell you the truth, majority besides the naked lady on my arm has the tattoos has something to do with my kids.
All right. So how many kids you got? Because the way you kind of been talking, it sounds like you future up here.
Dang, I got 4. I got four beautiful children.
Man, you got a whole message. You got a whole team. But one thing I will say about his kids, though, they are well loved. They're well mannered. They're good kids. That's one thing I will say. He ain't got no baby kids that be running around the shows acting a fool.
Yeah.
So I want to say that because some wrestlers, y'all need to keep y'all kids at home. I'm just saying.
James, no, I'm saying.
James had one of his kids there. I didn't even know he was there. I was like, oh, this is my nephew. What's up?
So we just got done watching NXT TakeOver, and WrestleMania is going to be happening this upcoming Sunday. As you look at your time in the industry and like your age and everything like that, where do you see the future of wrestling going, or the people who are getting started now? And what do you see from yourself in the industry? Is your ultimate goal to try to get in like an AEW or Ring of Honor or WWE, or is it just I want to get these bookings up north?
No, to tell you the truth, I would like to get bookings at other places. For me, the problem about bookings in other states or whatnot is because of my real job. I got to pay these bills. Wrestling's not gonna pay the bills, or at least for me, they're not gonna pay the bills. My dream was always to get I won't say dream, but my goal was to get at least one Ring of Honor match. I don't care if it was a dark match, it was a squash match. I don't care. I just wanted to be in the Ring of Honor ring at least one time, so I could say I did it. The direction wrestling's going in, I like it because it's showing appreciation for the little guy. Like for the longest, even though I enjoyed it, like wrestling was for the big guys. Like little guys couldn't fight, or little guys could never beat a big guy, which is like far from the truth. Because I know plenty of little guys that will whoop a big dude. I like how wrestling's going, where it's geared towards you got the Daniel Bryans, now that the Johnny Garganos and Ciampa, he's not that big of a dude. It's just I appreciate it more, and I like the direction it's going. I like now wrestling is not just wrestling. People got mixed martial arts backgrounds. And they, put that within the wrestling, the boxing. They put that within wrestling. I like how things are, is a mixture now. It's not just one thing.
You mentioned that, and you mentioned earlier that you had done some jujitsu in the military.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen that in your style. Is it anything that holds you back from incorporating a little bit more of that jujitsu?
I usually. Sometimes I'll put a hold or a throw in here and there, but I'm more, kick knee.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
More kick knee and stump oriented because, I like to keep my moves to where my moveset to where I can do it to anybody. I don't want to be, if I ever, wrestle a bigger guy, I don't want to like, oh, now I got to dumb down my moves. Like, no, my style's not going to change. I'm still going to be, you still gonna get kicks, knees, and stumps through the whole match.
What's your biggest regret in wrestling?
Not trying harder. I feel like, even though now I look about it, people telling me, it's like, you know what? Because I always use my age as an excuse, and I feel like, I'm too old. It's never gonna happen. If I ever try it, people gonna look at my age like, why we sign this dude? He's 2 steps from breaking an ankle and getting out the ring. Why we want this old ass man in his ring? Can I say ass? I just said it.
Yeah, you can say
okay. I just said it again. Anyways, I feel like if I would just listen to people more and try harder, I think I probably would have got that one Ring of Honor match or or some kind of bigger show. There was a time where I was actually I put on some weight. I think the heaviest I got was like 190. I was almost 200 pounds, and I was going to the gym and whatnot, and it was showing. I was like, look at me bulking up and stuff. And then some stuff happened during that time where I was like, I just gave up. I was like, what's the point? And I just stopped. And I slimmed down to my what I'm at right now, And I just feel like I should have never listened to other people and listened to the people that had interest in me. Tried harder and see what it took in me.
Well, there's no time like the present. That's how I feel about that. You still in the industry. You still going strong. Obviously, Legacy Pro believes in you enough to put the title on you, and hopefully that's helped propel you to like the top of some of these people's lists where you say you can't get bookings because now you're literally the face of a company.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you the truth, I don't know about bookings. I mean, I know a lot more people notice me now. I have getting like plenty of people in my inbox, like, congratulating me and whatnot. And I was like, wow, this came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting any of this.
I wanted to, so what did you think about the list that came out for the top wrestlers in the state? I saw that you and Skylar, your tag team, was on there.
Yeah, my boy.
Where were you ranked?
What was it? I want to say 40, but it can have been, I think it might have been lower than 40.
Okay, I was just trying to see if you were higher than Chris Black.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Were you higher than Chris Black?
Wait, Chris Black was on there? Oh, no. Now,
I think he was like number 52 or something.
Chris Black can't even hear us right now.
I'm appreciative. Like, I didn't tell you the truth, I didn't think I was going to be on anybody's list. Like, let alone, I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, it's whatever. Like,
we saw a couple women at the top of the list. What do you think? How do you like the state of women's wrestling overall and within the state? I know we were talking about the triple threat match at WrestleMania, and you're completely against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. I'm gonna throw you in.
No, I'm not completely against. It's just that take it from their talent. I think they're awesome. It's just I don't know. None of the women.
Charlotte and Becky Lynch, you mean, right?
I'm speaking from me. For me, none of the women that's going to be in this main event, I gravitate towards like they're probably going most likely going to put on an awesome main event. It's just I don't have no kind of there's nothing that's going to make me want to watch them put on this main event. Like I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be invested in it. Like it is what it is.
So to you, what should have been the main event of WrestleMania?
I would have enjoyed Asuka being in the main event. I feel like she got the raw deal of women's wrestling.
Who would you put Asuka up against?
I wouldn't mind seeing Asuka and you know what? Could have put Asuka in there and then with all three of them. I'd have been fine with that.
So a fatal 4-way?
Yeah, I'd have been fine with that. That's the main event I'd probably watch. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
See, for those of you who don't listen to the podcast, I've been a big advocate that they should have had Charlotte Flair wrestle Asuka for the SmackDown title so that Asuka can get that win back from her last year. But they didn't do that. They decided to put Asuka in the uterus and ovary battle royal.
That's fine.
You see the trophy? The trophy is literally a pair of ovaries and a uterus.
I gotta see it. I gotta look. But I wouldn't mind seeing a back and forth between Asuka and Ronda Rousey. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that would have probably been pretty good. But I don't. I'm not a booker, so therefore, what do I know?
Besides that three-way, they have not had anything with each other, did they?
I don't think so. But
yeah, that's the ball that's dropped.
Wisconsin women's wrestling. I think I wish there was more of it. To tell you the truth, because I believe there's only like a handful of the ladies wrestling.
Stacy Shadow, Sierra, Vanessa, Azur.
yeah, that's. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody out there, but that's all I can think of right now.
Come up from Chicago. I forget her name. That comes up from Chicago. That does Mondo Lucha occasionally.
I'm not gonna say it's sad for women's wrestling in the state of Wisconsin. It's just it's not enough of it.
So, what would you say if one of your children came to you and said they wanted to take up professional wrestling?
Tell you the truth, my oldest daughter, she was thinking about it, and then I immediately shut that down because dudes in wrestling are dogs. they can't be trusted. You can't trust no wrestling guys. You can't.
Damn. You're just gonna throw the whole business under the bus.
You don't think that you could coach and guide her through the industry?
I'll probably be in jail.
Because we only do shows together or something like that.
I
You just said you feel like there should be more women in wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you think that may be part of the reason there's not as many women in wrestling? Maybe they get in and they see how it is, and they're like,
I've seen some stuff. I was like, I questioned, like, you know what? No, not my baby. Nope, not doing it. I think she would have been awesome too, cause she would have been pretty awesome, cause she's tall and she got some. She's I don't know how to word it, cause I want everybody like, ooh, let me check out his daughter. Let's say she's stout. Let's say that. That's a good word. Yeah, let's use that word. I think she would have been pretty good because she's pretty to look at and she's athletic. I think she would have been pretty good.
So I understand what you're saying, but like I asked you, like, you don't think that you could coach and guide her through it yourself and try to keep her like focused, keep your head in that ring and off of them boys?
Tell you the truth, I don't know, because the way I've treated her through her life, I probably would treat her the same way as a coach. I believe in like let life be the teacher. I'd be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you this, but be free and do you, and let you learn. If you got any questions or you got any concerns, come back towards me, and I'll try to guide you in the right direction.
The natural Chris Black over there shaking his head.
Because I'd be like, yeah. In the back of your mind, you got to tell her the old age saying when Armani says, "Believe nothing what you hear and only half of what you see."
Yeah. You're right.
So most of the times, yeah, they trying to run game.
Yeah.
But
you're
not supposed to work. You're not supposed to work the workers. But if you're a rat, you ain't really a worker.
Yeah.
So what's been one of the like worst experiences that you've had in the ring?
Ooh.
Whether it be like an injury or somebody
sandbagging
you or having to go shoot on somebody.
I would never forget this. This is probably the reason why I try to stay away from. I'm not gonna bring up no names or the name of the show or whatnot. No, because I don't.
Or it didn't happen.
I don't want to ruin nobody else's bookings or my views and opinions are not everybody's that's on this show right now. So put that disclaimer out there. All right. A good buddy of mine that's on this show right now got me and Skylar booked for this show. Pretty big show, pretty big deal to me and him. Me and him was super geeked. So we had this I wouldn't say a squash match, but it was a tag team match.
And like the bow tie match.
One of the gentlemen that we was going up against, he had brought this idea about this finishing move he wanted to perform on me and Skylar. So me and Skylar being young and dumb, we was like, okay, sure, buddy, go ahead, we can do it. Not knowing there was some kind of, I don't know, I felt like there's some kind of animosity or whatnot. To this day, I still don't understand what was going on. But the move, thinking about it, was like a dangerous move. Like, dog, this dude finna kill us.
It was the doomsday device.
So this is how it goes. Eric Cannon, which is an awesome dude, he reached out to me after this, right after the next day after this match. Shout out to Eric Cannon, you're awesome. So Eric Cannon lifts up Skylar Reed on his shoulders. The other gentleman off the top rope clotheslines Skylar Reed to make him flip on top of me so they can pin both of us. But somehow I don't remember it all. All I remember is seeing Skylar being flipped over, and I see a knee coming towards me, hitting dead in my face, and all I remember is waking up being in the back. I'm like, how did I get to the back? And I can't remember. Somebody came to me and was like, I can't remember who it was. That's how bad it was. I couldn't remember who it was, but somebody came and was like, dog, you look like you've been concussed. I was like, what? I've been what? And all I remember is having this migraine for like 2 days. And I was like, ever since then, I was like, you know what? That would never happen again to me or anybody else. Because I felt like that day.
Taking advantage of.
Yeah. And I feel like the people that ran that show had to see it. And nobody stuck up for us or said anything like, hey, yo, that was wrong. Why'd you do that? Or nothing. So ever since then, that's the beef I had with them and that show.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer to plan out your matches beforehand, or do you like to call it in the ring? I'm just asking because of what you just said happened in that situation.
When I call, I like to call. I like to think of a skeleton of the match. Like I like to call how we gonna start it. I like to call little hope spots, and I like to call the finish. Everything else in between, I like to freestyle in the ring. And some people that have worked with me say I talk a lot and I talk loud, which I do. I do. I talk a lot and I talk loud, but that's how I communicate. Now everybody got their own style, but I feel like because majority of the time I've been wrestling, I've been heel, and I feel like that makes it easier for me. Like, cause I got a bad memory, so that helps me remember things. If I talk loud and constant in the ring, we can get this match to be good.
Yeah, I was just asking that question because of what happened to you in that match that you just mentioned with the Doomsday device. And I remember a while ago, it was more than a year ago. I remember a wrestler in Wisconsin named Jack Blackwell. He had posted, he had just started training, and it was like his second match, and he had a guy call a spot in the ring for a pile driver. He had never done a pile driver before.
Jesus.
And like you said, being young and dumb, he just agreed to it because it was in the midst of the match, and he let the guy give him a pile driver. Nothing happened to him, but I just saw a bunch of people reaching out to him like, "Hey, if you've never done that spot before and you're uncomfortable, don't let them call something like that."
Yeah, I believe that, and also blame the people that was around him, because somebody around him should have said, "Hey, yo, it's green. Maybe that's not a move. You should be performing on a guy that hasn't never taken that move." I think a lot of people could be blamed for that. Jack can be blamed for that. I mean, I get it why he did it. He's like, he just wants to be accepted. He doesn't want to, rub anybody the wrong way. But you got to think about yourself. Like, now, I should have said that during that time when I got a big knee to the face. I should have thought about that. But I was just happy to be where I was at, and yeah, just looking at it now, like he should have stood up for himself, and then people around him, or whoever got him booked on that show or whatnot, some of the older wrestlers should have been around like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
So let me ask you this, and let me word this, make sure I word this properly. So do you think it was actually just you guys, it was too advanced of a move for you guys to do? Or are you saying it's something that was intentionally done, knowing that you weren't going to be able to do it? Or what do you think was the reason the botch happened?
I wouldn't call it a botch, but thinking about the move in my head, he should have been able to clear that whole gap from the top rope after the clothesline over me. That gap, he should have been able to clear that gap. Especially how close I was to that corner to make it to where Skylar Reed could easily flip and just land right onto me.
So whose knee was it? Was it Skylar Reed's knee, or was it the opponent coming off the top?
It was the opponent coming off the top. It was his knee.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so it was the execution of the move. Okay.
Yes. Damn. I can't remember the whole thing because, like I said, all I remember is knee to the face, and then I'm in the back sitting on the chair.
We got a lot of context clues on what this match was, though. We know who was all in it. So go check the archives.
Because I would say, and this is me being on the outside looking in and knowing all the parties involved. I don't think there was any intentional malice in the whole thing. And I know you and Skylar Reed kind of think a little differently, but I don't think it was done intentionally.
No, I mean, I let things go. I mean, I've letting things go. I feel like
he forgot about most of those things, so he had to let them go.
I just feel like I was hoping it was no malice or anything behind it, but looking back at a dude's history and for whatever reason, I just if you hurt somebody or you do something wrong in the ring to somebody, what do? You either say sorry to him in the ring or, hey, my bad, in the ring, or you make sure after the match you go out and be like, hey, you okay? You good? Is there anything?
Right.
None of that. The only person that reached out to me was Mr. Eric Cannon. That's the only person. He's like, hey, bro, you good? I mean, I'm sorry for what happened. I was like, shit, right on. I mean, that's some real stuff. He didn't have to.
He's a class act. That's why.
Yeah.
So that was your worst moment. What's been your best moment in the ring or most fun show you've ever done?
Ooh, best moment, hands down, was when I won the LPW title, because I wasn't expecting it. I just wanted the opportunity to show how awesome I was. Best matches, I had this.
Xavier Mustafa over there getting the Triple H Woody right now.
I'll have to say, best matches. For right now, I have to say the one that me and T-Dub just had, even though that was like a skeleton of a match that we could have. And I would say the match that me and Justin Dredd had, I want to say about maybe a year or two ago it was an event for a cause. I can't remember where it was at, but it was for Wrestling for a Cause, and that was a pretty good match.
So you winning the LPW championship, that's the biggest title that you've won, right?
Yes.
Okay. You've had tag team gold and other things like that.
Yes.
Okay. So with this being your biggest title, like, and the amount of time you've been in the industry, do you feel that this reign comes not too late, but late? Do you feel that it was deserved earlier, or do you think now is the right time?
You know what? Looking at it, I would have said I deserved it early, but now that I'm thinking about it and look back, like, I didn't deserve it because I was still learning. I didn't know what I was. To this day, back then I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. To this day, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm a little bit better now, and I can actually, I feel like I can carry a match somewhat. I mean, I'm still learning. That's why I watch a lot of wrestling. I watch a lot of wrestlers that are similar to the style I have, and I feel like I can, like, I don't need a manager. I don't need nobody to help me call a match. I feel like I can call a match, and it'd be a pretty good match by myself. And I think that I think that's what TC and Eddie were waiting for, to see if I could do it. And now I feel like they see that I can do it now, and that's why they put it on me. And that last match, I had called pretty much all of it, and I felt like that was a pretty good match.
It was all right. No, I'm playing. No, I'm playing. No, you and TWT was good, but I would say probably my favorite your match was with was the one where you won the title, because I thought you, Dave, so it was CW3, right?
No, it was me, Swashbuckle. Shout out to Swashbuckle. What's up, man? And and Dave Soul.
Dave Soul. And I thought, especially you two, you and Dave Soul, I felt like y'all put y'all heart into that match. Like, and then Dave Soul was putting in some of his best work, and you was putting in some of your best work. And Swashbuckle's been putting in some good work lately as well. So it was kind of great to see all you guys, and then all of you guys, like me, having a hand in training. Yeah, probably got a little chubby.
Yeah, all three of you guys are basically the same class.
Yeah, you know what? I did not think about that match. I did enjoy it. Like, if people, I don't know if anybody recorded it, but that match had a story. Like, if anybody watched that match, it was like I was battling. I was not only battling the people outside, but I was battling Angel Armani on the outside. Like, every chance I had to get on top, somehow Angel stuck his nose into it until that very last moment where I got it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, did your manservant ever get his manager's license now?
Oh, he's good. He's good. And his name is not Manser. His name is Sir Cumberbatch. Shout out to Sir Cumberbatch. What's going on?
Let me ask you this: what match are you looking forward to for WrestleMania Sunday?
None of them. No. I'm investing into this Kofi Kingston Daniel Bryan, because I think Kofi's been deserving it for a while, like for a while. I always felt like he was getting the raw deal, especially the amount of bullcrap he was being put through. Always been a Daniel Bryan fan. And I think that, I tell you the truth, I hope I'm expecting that match to steal the show.
So if you're in the WrestleMania main event, who you wrestling?
I can pick my opponent from anywhere, or got to be somebody from the WWE.
From anywhere, WWE, not WWE.
Oh, that's easy. It would be Kenta.
Oh God,
he ain't allowed no more.
I got a question for you. So, who would you like to work? Like locally, who haven't you got a chance to work with that you really would like to work with?
Besides Xavier Mustafa?
Yeah.
You haven't worked Mustafa?
Not an actual match. Like I've been in matches where, you know, he's, you know, being a monster heel and you know how that works. I would like
Squash.
I would
right?
like I would like an actual 30-minute match.
You being called out right now.
Yeah, I know.
How you gonna respond?
You know what? What year is this? 2019. We'll see what we can do early 2020. Gotta hit that gym.
I'll probably be done by then. What you
Gotta
talking
slim down a little bit.
and Sadis. I always wanted to wrestle Sadis. I think Sadis. I think Sadis is almost calling it quits because I haven't heard nothing from him in a while. I mean, I see pictures of him and stuff, but I haven't seen.
He works
He's
for
actually
McCoy.
quote unquote retired, but I say quote unquote because wrestlers never really retire. That's why I always say semi-retired.
The right money, the right opponent.
Sadis is fun to work.
Yeah, I agree.
Like him and Mustafa, they had a really good feud going at one point with the whole Monster of the Midwest title. Yeah. It was a good thing going, but I'm not going to talk about how it ended.
And yeah, I mean, there's other guys I would love to wrestle, but I would like my top would be Sadis and Xavier Mustafa.
Okay. Book.
Who wins between you and Chris Black?
Oh, it had to be me. I mean, it would have to be me. Why not?
You said win? Boy.
So like, would it be like, would that match be like NXT, or would it be more like superstars? You just job them out real quick.
Oh
I'd
yeah,
probably have
Chris
to
Black
job
would do
him
the
out real
job.
quick.
What?
So you're called. So you said you want to wrestle Xavier Mustafa. I'm gonna give you the opportunity right now to cut your promo on Xavier Mustafa.
Oh, it would be no need for a promo. It'd be no need. Cause
What do you do about
he's
the Urban
been
Horseman?
Xavier Mustafa's been ducking and dodging this whooping for a long time, and he thinks just because I'm a little dude that he's just gonna come in, a couple of heavy clotheslines, a couple of splashes in the corner, maybe a moonsault 1, 2, 3. Nah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Everybody has a game plan until you get kicked in the mouth by Nell Dillinger. Believe that.
And what about the Dark Match Mafia? I mean, what about the Urban Horsemen?
Oh, we didn't. I think they got disbanded because of me. Tell you the truth, I think I'm the one that broke them up.
I'm just letting y'all know I'm giving y'all that practice look that football player gave. Like, practice. Give you that look right now.
So do you have a rebuttal over there? Everyone has a game plan until they get kicked in the face.
You know what? I like to let people think what they want to think. I let people say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, when we get in the ring with the XMen Xavier Mustafa, it's nothing you can do, man, but sit there and take that L. So, you know what? I'm gonna make this official right now. I'm finna hit this gym. I'm finna, work, get these muscles back where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we do some early 2020. You know what I'm saying? Do 2 out of 3 falls, or do an Iron Man match or something like that. So I can put the hands on you for a long time, and show everybody. You know what I'm saying? What Nell Dillinger used to be.
It might take a little bit longer than that. I seen Mr. Mustafa down 4 Cokes, like back to back to back to back. It's still one can right here too.
Okay, so let's get into your training a little bit. So you said that wrestling training was a little bit harder than you thought. Me personally, I think I went into it underestimating what it was, to the point where on my 3rd day, I started to question, I don't know if I can do this. Did you ever have that moment where you had reality kind of slapped you in the face? Like, I don't know if I can do this. This is harder than I thought.
Yeah, it was. I remember the day exactly. I think, what were we doing? We were doing I think they were Armdrags, I believe. And no. It was I kept on turning the wrong way after a leapfrog. And for some reason I just couldn't keep it. I couldn't get it, and I just couldn't understand, like, why can I turn the right way after a leapfrog. I don't get it. It's so simple, but I just couldn't do it. So, Angel got sick of me, and next thing you know, he just started putting an ass whipping on me. And I think he whooped me for like a good 30, 45 minutes. But you know what? I think like that was probably like the best match I had at that time, because after the whooping, he was like, you did pretty good. I was like, of course I did pretty. You was whooping me the whole match. I ain't really have to do anything, but all right. But he said, like after the whooping, he told me, he's like, yeah, I told you where to be, and you was there, and you took everything I had, and when I was like, oh, okay. And that following week after that, because after that, before because I think we did leapfrogs for like 3 weeks straight, and we kept on doing it over and over again mainly because I couldn't get it right. And during that, me questioning me is like, if I can't do a basic leapfrog and turn the correct way, maybe this ain't for me. It's like I can't do the basic things. But after that whooping Angel put on me, and that week after, it just started clicking. It's like, okay, I got this now. I'm getting it. And so
So, question not related to wrestling.
Yep.
I'm
an open book.
This episode is dropping 1 week before one of the biggest events in American history, and we need you to weigh in and give us your thoughts. Avengers Endgame.
Ooh, I can't wait.
What do you think is gonna happen?
Oh man, tell you the truth, I feel bad for Thanos. I really feel bad for Thanos. And why? Because I think he did nothing wrong. I think Thanos did nothing wrong. I think
Thanos will be like, "Do not cry for me."
I believe Thanos did what he had to do for his planet and for his people. I think anybody else would have done that. So in my book, Thanos is the good guy. But
he could have stopped at his people. He had to take out half of the whole universe. Well, hold on, which is messed up because he already took half of all these other places. Then he snapped his fingers, took another half. So now we down to a quarter. Are we doing Scott Steiner math here?
He's
Like,
funny.
what is we doing?
Hey, you got to break a few eggs, all right? Stuff got to happen, all right? I feel bad for Thanos because the Avengers not gonna play with him. They like, you know what? If we gonna do this, we got to make sure we do this right. Because
Do you have your tickets?
No, not yet. And
what are you waiting on?
I already. Because I gotta, because of work, I gotta plan this out because I plan on making this a whole day.
So if he ain't got his tickets yet, he not going open that weekend.
There's preparation for this. All right, this training you got to go through to see this movie, and I got to make sure I'm ready.
I also want to ask you another question that's not necessarily about wrestling. I know we were discussing like your gimmick, all gold everything, and it's kind of steampunk inspired. Yep. And also we were discussing Borderlands 3. I know my two co-hosts aren't necessarily into gaming like that, but what are you expecting out of Borderlands 3? And if you want to give out your gamer tag or your screen name and everything like that, you can go ahead and do that. But
my PSN is Nell Dillinger. Just had to keep it something simple. I'm a big Borderlands fan. My guy Skylar Reed, shout out to Skylar Reed. He the person that put me on to Borderlands. And ever since then, I love this game. I love everything about it. I even love that it has a little steampunk element to it. I believe it's going to be it should be the top game of the year when it comes out. It should be. Especially how long people have been waiting for this game. It's been, I want to say 3 or 4 years maybe.
It's been like 5. But so you're excited about that. What about Cyberpunk 2077? I'm excited for that one.
What is that?
It's another video game.
Oh, okay.
Switching things up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try to keep an open mind about it. Mm-hmm. Like when somebody told me about BioShock, I don't know if everybody.
BioShock is one of the greatest games of all time.
Because I just now started playing, or I just played it for the first time. I was like, because I love steampunk, and that has a steampunk
Infinite
element
from the beginning. BioShock Infinite or from the beginning?
Beginning.
Okay.
Beginning.
Yeah.
Becoming a fan of it.
I got one more question for you that's not wrestling related.
Yep.
And this is pretty much current events. You kind of alluded to like that you were kind of out in the streets doing your thing for a while when you were younger.
Yep.
And we just had the passing of Nipsey Hussle. Do you got any thoughts on that?
Anytime somebody has a life taken away from you is a bad thing, especially if your life's being taken away from you and all you're doing is trying to do is uplift your community and do good for your people. I don't want to date myself. Not really big on Nipsey Hussle. I didn't know too much about him, like of his music. Like all I know is like the times he was on the TV shows, the Love of Hip Hop, whatever. Like times he was on there. I believe he was on there a couple of times. Didn't really listen to his music, but I knew of him because of Snoop Dogg or whatnot. But yeah, anytime somebody is trying to do good for the community and, there's a knucklehead, there's always knuckleheads around in every group, they hate to see people doing good or whatnot. That's not a good thing. It's always going to be bad.
Anything from either one of you guys?
You folks can ask me anything. I told you, I don't hold nothing back.
What's your favorite TV show?
Now?
Besides Game of Thrones.
Oh, my God, I can't.
What's that?
All right, if nobody's seen Game of Thrones, it's a lot. There's a lot going on that has you question yourself because I was like, wait a minute, this is okay? They put this on TV? Like this dude is openly, these people openly are fine with moms and sons having sex with each other on this show. It's like I can't handle this. This is not for me.
Moms and sons.
And I mean, that's a bad example. I can't remember who it was, but it was clearly clearly incest going on in this TV show. Some lady, I'm all about fantasy and whatnot, but this lady is controlling dragons and telling dragons to kill people, and I was like, you know what? This is maybe too much for me. I'm out of my element right now. So I can't deal with this show.
Okay, so I've got this theory that a lot of pro wrestlers nowadays are nerds. So what would you rate your nerd level?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know if I was a nerd. I was definitely a geek.
Okay, you have to explain the difference.
There's a difference.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm high up there, but there's a lot of stuff I like get into and people look at me like, really? Is this what you like? I'm like, yeah. Don't look at me because I'm the weirdo around here.
Yeah, we came up with that because we look at the old school days of partying and drinking and going out and hanging out, but nowadays, like a lot, I think it was Kevin Nash or somebody basically made a statement like that doesn't happen. The industry has cleaned up its act very much so because a lot of these new wrestlers much rather go back to their hotels and play their video games. And then you also see a lot more relationships being formed now. A lot of these wrestlers are married, and usually they're marrying somebody on the road, and they may actually be being faithful nowadays. So they're like a bunch of nerds and geeks.
You know what? I was, as a kid growing up, even though I did my dirt and all that, I was still I was one of the kids that was athletic, but I was still able to be a nerd / geek. Like I was able to do that. It was just, I don't know. I was just one of those kids that could do it.
You got to be a little bit of a nerd to join the
Nerd
military.
jocks.
Especially the Navy.
I joined that by accident. That was not planned.
They were like, you either go to jail or you join the Navy.
No,
like,
I didn't get that. I didn't get that option.
Like either way it goes, you're going to hang out with a bunch of guys in a small little space.
So women, you got a naked woman tattoo by accident, and you joined the Navy by accident.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't by it, because I was trying to go through culinary art school, and I was trying to pay for it by myself, and which come to find out that it was very hard, being, trying to do it by yourself. So a naval gentleman walked up towards me, got to me at the right time, was like, hey, you ever thought about joining the military? And I was like, negative. And all I heard was, off Charlie Brown, like, wah, 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 wah.
Money.
All I heard was, we pay for your schooling. I heard that's what I heard. Like, we'll pay for your school. I was like, hold on, what'd you say? You pay for my schooling? He was like, yeah. I was like, all right, I'm down. Let's do this. Where I got to sign. And that's how they got me. They didn't tell me that while you're in the military, you got to go to school in your own time, which is you barely had any of your own time. But I did it. I got my degrees.
Oh, so you're a chef?
I got associates in bacon and Le Cordon Bleu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I got the degree and pretty much never used it because the plan I had didn't come to fruition. For one reason or the other, I just didn't go after what I was planning to do with that degree.
So you said you're an open book. So what about these ring rats?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Man. Shh. I don't know. You trying to get me killed. I love you, babe. Deshaun Williams, I love you. Something I do want to say. Regarding, the Wisconsin, indie wrestling scene, I'm not to be, brown nosing or whatnot. I'm really proud of, Eddie and TC. And I don't know. I don't know if I can say the other party because I don't know if that's made official or anybody needs to know or whatnot. Of what they doing, being black men in a predominantly ran industry, and with Legacy Pro Wrestling, how good it's been with the promotion and whatnot. How hard it is to try to run a promotion, not only being a minority, but being in an industry that's ran. It's predominantly white, not trying to be racist or anything, but it's it's a known fact, and I've told them before, but I'm proud of what they're doing, and plus giving people opportunities, to be on the show that normally we get an opportunity anywhere else, and now that they open the doors for certain guys, now other doors are being opened for guys, now all because they started Legacy Pro Wrestling, or I don't know if I can say this, but Ice Pro, I don't know if anybody remembers that or not.
Ice Pro was in no way really affiliated with Legacy Pro Wrestling. It was kind of what's what I'm looking for? It's kind of the phoenix that rose from those ashes.
Oh, you funny. Anyways, yeah, I think what they're doing is a good thing. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I think this is a positive thing.
So he did put someone over on this show today.
Who you talking? Everybody talk about. I don't think I talked about myself once. What are you talking about?
Well, I do want to say thank you for that. I mean, Legacy Pro, its primary purpose and its purpose still to this day is to give a lot of rookies a chance to hone their craft. I mean, we got us, we got Bruce City, we got ICW, we got MKE, we got WPW, we got ACW. We got all these promotions. Everybody got their own rookies, and I think the Wisconsin indie scene, if we all work together, we can be greater than what we are. I think right now there's a lot of division between everybody, but I think like what we're doing with some of these rookies are starting to like kind of break that up a little bit, Everybody for the most part gets along, everybody kind of stay in there. Well, some people are growing out of the area, but but it was always for you guys to be able to go somewhere and learn from us, quote unquote, veterans that's been in the business for a long time. And so I'll always be proud of it being what it is.
I want to close with this final question. If you could give your younger self any advice approaching this industry and starting in this industry, what would it be?
Don't let people stop you. Yeah, I know it's cliche, but don't let people stop you from reaching the goal that you want to reach. Because there's, again, cliche. I know there's haters, everywhere, but there's not everybody in this industry has your well-being in your mind, in their mind. There's people out there, they want you to do good, but not better than them. And there is some good people out there that would try to push you in the right direction. Just if I could tell my younger self, like dude, just don't listen to everybody. Circle out the bad people. Don't listen to the critics, 'cause that's what they are. They're critics. Take what they say for a grain of salt, and if you can apply it to what you're doing, apply it. If you can't, just say thank you for your opinion and just keep it moving, and don't let people put you down, and just keep focused.
All right. You want to give out your social media where people can find you, follow you, and subscribe to you?
Yes. My wrestling page is Nell Dillinger. Go ahead and check it out.
Spell it.
Nell, Nell Dillinger, Dillinger. Just go on the page, like it, or you can hit me up on my regular pages. Donnell Penn. I'm a cool dude. I'm friendly. Shoot me a friend request. I mean, I'm gonna check you out first. 'Cause I don't want no creepers. And if you cool, then I accept you.
No women, obviously. No ladies.
Yeah. You trying to get me killed?
I thought you liked the big booty chicks.
Whoa, I do. My baby know that.
You guys want to give out your social media? Chris Black, Xavier Mustafa.
You can always catch me at Xavier Mustafa on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and I think I'm on the Instagram too. I don't ever update it, but I'm on it.
You can catch me at The Natural Chris Black on Instagram and Facebook. And you can catch me on Twitter at _natural_CB. And like tonight during the pay-per-view, I'm always live tweeting my, just opinions, reactions. I had fun. Join me next time. Join me from WrestleMania.
All right. And I also just want to remind everybody, be sure to subscribe to us on all your social media platforms, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you get your podcast from. Subscribe, share, and like our content. I want to send a big thank you to Nell Dillinger for coming through and participating in this interview with us. I also want to give a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed, followed, and shared and showed love and support for our podcast so far. Be sure to check out our classic content. I hope you enjoyed this content here. Be sure to definitely go back and watch our WrestleMania predictions challenge consequences content where 2 out of 3 of us had to eat some of the hottest peppers in the world. You've been listening to Saturday Night SlamCasters. Come get slammed. Holla at your boys. We out of here. Peace.